Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, my name is Demigod Shmurda here, and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to another episode of Arrowverse Analysis. Despite the execution of some characters like the Huntress, I'd say this season's done its job so far. It's very rare we get an episodic series that builds its major plot in the background anymore, so rewatching Arrow's been very refreshing to me for that reason. And again, despite some episodes not being that great, you can very clearly tell that every episode is distinctly an episode in Arrow Season 1. But once you get to these episodes, all of that changes. Outside of The Huntress Returns and maybe Dodger, these are the first episodes in the series that I would call bad. It's pretty clear that the Arrow writers wanted to create some tension in the characters' personal lives going into the season's final episodes. Now, here's the thing. A healthy amount of tension between characters doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it does have to arise naturally. And that's the thing about these episodes. The tension and drama between the characters feels forced, and like it exists exclusively because the writers wanted to create some tension. And when you can't create natural tension between your characters, your story becomes hard to sit through. If this is your first episode and you're wondering how my rating system works, there's a detailed description down below, along with a link to all my other episodes of Overanalysis, but I encourage you to watch this one first. I'm sure you'll still enjoy it. I've got no updates for this episode, so let's just jump right back into the Overanalysis. On April 3rd, 2013, Arrow released its 19th episode, Unfinished Business, directed by Michael Offer, his only contribution to the series. With Vertigo back on the open market, Oliver and the team have to track down the Count's new operation. Meanwhile, Tommy sticks his neck out for Oliver when Vertigo is found in the club.
How we doing? We're in the black and the green.
Girl just got mowed down a couple blocks from here. She was in your club tonight.
A lot of people were.
You think someone killed her?
Not someone. Something.
Vertigo.
Yeah. You had a problem with that in this club?
Not that I'm aware of.
Just need to ask him a few questions, Doc.
Oh, you're welcome to try, Detective, but I'm not sure you'll get very far with him. I've been working with him for months now, and all I've gotten out of him is word salad and the occasional spit in the face.
Someone is selling Vertigo again. Where is it coming from? I remember you.
You failed this city! You have failed this city!
You could have just said he was nuts. You're teaching me that one.
Only if you show me where the knife was.
Oh yeah.
The tension in that boat was 150 pounds. Snap it, you'll end up with carbon fiber shrapnel in your eyes.
She's right. You're not strong enough, kid.
Can you fight?
I've tried. Limited success.
Sitting right here.
I
Limited.
haven't tried yet.
Oh, the dynamic between the three of them is very fun.
I'm here at the scene where police say a disturbed patient escaped only hours ago.
You got anything from the security cameras?
Well, according to the orderly here, due to budget cuts, the cameras were the first to go. Veronica Sparks, the dead girl from Verdant, the last person she texted before she died was Tommy Merlin.
He said he didn't know her.
On a hunch, I subpoenaed the club's bank accounts. There's 10 large missing from their operating expenses.
You think Merlin spent that money on Vertigo?
I think I can't explain how that much money just gets misplaced.
I'm getting a good signal off the monofilament strips we placed in the bills.
Drug money's like a pigeon, it always finds its way home.
We can follow the money all the way back to the Count.
Headshot. Kills again, this time a U.S. Senator. Where are you tracking him?
I ran his Floyd Lawton alias through every conceivable law enforcement database. He's made a series of calls to an Alberto Garcia. He books all the Deadshot's hits. Don't you think Oliver should know?
No. Lawton's my problem to deal with.
Well, the last text off her phone, it was to you.
Really? Because, well, I'll be damned.
Well, I didn't reply. I get 100 texts like this a night. People wanting to get in the club.
So that's what she meant by, can you hook me up?
What else would it be about?
$10,000 is missing from your club's bank accounts. If you spent that money on Vertigo so that you could hook up your clientele...
Dad!
I know, I look like the disapproving father again. But I came down here so another cop wouldn't.
The water bowl thing!
Hit the water.
What?
Hit it. Again. Again, harder.
Now what?
Fill the bowl. Start again.
Sending the dealer's location to you now.
Now that'll buy you a brick, my man.
Oliver, go after him. Or shoot a arrow through his windshield.
Hey, we got a problem here? Are you okay?
417 in progress, Starling Aquarium.
Bystander said they saw him pop some green and purple pills.
They're medicinal herbs from the island that counterbalance the effects of certain drugs and poisons.
You aren't gonna,
What?
you know.
My sister got high in this garbage. Could have killed someone. She didn't deserve an arrow in the heart. This guy didn't fail the city. The city failed him. And so did I.
I really like that use of Oliver's signature catchphrase mixed in with his morals there. Oliver draws the line at druggies, which is interesting. And I really like the way that he used his line there. You know what? I might throw that one up on the you have failed the city counter.
You didn't make him take drugs.
No, but I did fail to put the count in the grave so deep that he couldn't come back and hurt anyone again.
Caught him, you locked him up.
And now the city is on fire. So clearly, it wasn't the right decision.
And there we go.
Get in touch with Diggle. With the security feed out, I'm gonna need a second set of eyes at the aquarium.
Oh! This is the episode we see Lila first.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that Deadshot is on Argus's most wanted list.
What do you know about him?
Well, his name, for starters, Floyd Lawman.
We don't even have that.
It's everything you need to locate who's giving Deadshot his targets.
And we get the Argus name drop this early too. God damn, I didn't think that came into play until season 2.
Eric Mesner, missing 10 grand. You paid it to him to skip the inspection of your nightclub.
We got nothing to hide here.
Great. Then let's just take a little look around.
Absolutely. Yeah. When you come back with a search warrant.
You sure this is how you want to play this?
Apparently.
How did he even get into this room of the aquarium?
I don't want to hurt you. I'm here to help you.
You said you knew why Fires wanted Zhao Fei and how he was forcing him to help him.
Oh, the dragon tattoo right there. It's on Shadow's arm.
My father was a Jiangjun in the People's Liberation Army, a general. I didn't hear the details of Fire's plans, but he wants my father to be the face of it. A scapegoat. To take the blame and conceal their own involvement.
Why was Yao Fei on the island in the first place?
The Chinese military committed a massacre. Someone had to take the blame. They chose him. Sent him to this island for life.
Mr. Merlin has requested a warrant to search these premises. A sub-level is not listed on the inspection floor plans. However, I pulled the county records. There's something down there.
And guess what? Tommy took care of it.
I've been using it to store the bulk of our inventory.
What's in the boxes?
Why don't you have a look?
So if you don't have anything to hide, why didn't you want the inspector down here?
Well, the ventilation system in this place hasn't been updated since the 60s. I mean, we shouldn't even be open.
I don't understand why you wouldn't just tell me about the bride.
I run the club, Oliver. I don't tell you a lot of things.
What have I done in the last 6 months since you've been home that would lead you to believe that I would sell drugs? Before I left, you played hard. You played with bad people who were into badness.
So did you, Oliver.
But I changed, just like you did. Now you put arrows in people who do illegal things. Last time I checked, bribing a city inspector was not legal. I've got no idea how you find it so easy to kill people. I asked Felicity to get in touch with you There was a hostage situation at the aquarium.
Oliver, you didn't end up needing me. You couldn't have known that. In other words, find your brother's killer on your own time, right? I cannot read a book to my nephew without knowing that Lawton took his father from him. I can't move on with Carly. I can't move on with my life. I thought if anybody got that, it'd be you.
The hostage-taking junkie. Check the toxicology to see if there's something related to the vertigo he was on.
He didn't die from vertigo overdose. According to the coroner, cause of death was severe anaphylaxis. He died of an allergic reaction to chlorpromazine.
That's an antipsychotic. The Count must have added it as a new ingredient in his latest iteration of vertigo.
But wouldn't the amount he'd need to manufacture enough for circulation be huge? Where would he get that much?
A mental institution. What if he faked his escape?
Oh, I've never listened to this part with headphones before. Part of the audio played here, during the first part. Part of it played here during that second part. That was super cool. I've only ever watched Arrow on my TV, so now that I'm watching it in my monitor with my headphones, they can do cool audio stuff like that. That's super sick, actually.
Turn around.
Oh wow, they actually took his mask off.
How'd you get him to give you the formula for vertigo?
He couldn't tell me if he wanted to. I ordered a biopsy on his kidneys. When I got the results, I realized I could reverse engineer the chemical compound of the drug, produce a synthesized version myself using the facilities here.
You faked the Count's disappearance to draw attention away from yourself.
I wasn't trying to be a criminal mastermind. I just needed the money. Open his mouth.
There we go, and now Dig has his back. That blink might be reused. Oh! Well, this fight is not very good. Oh, I remember this part.
Clear.
Such a good quip, dude. Another pipe rattled or ridden hallway.
I doubt you could aim a single arrow.
The one on the side there hit the jacket, and I'm assuming this is like a dummy of some kind. But yeah, the one on the side hit through the jacket, which might have been an accident in the take, but I'm going to pretend like it was on purpose because detail, and it's cool.
Nothing what it once was.
And now Oliver can't bring himself to do it because the dude's basically a vegetable.
How we doing?
In the black, this club is important to me. But for you, it's just a front. You want me to keep your secret, help you be this thing you've become, but you refuse to see me for what I've become. I've got just a bit too much self-respect for that.
I quit.
There once was a young boy whose father dropped him off at a Shaolin monastery to study Kung Fu.
Good. A story.
All the monks had him do was slap water in a barrel for a year. The family didn't believe him, so he showed him. He raised his hand and hit the table they were eating on. It broke in half.
I'm gonna be able to break a table.
Better.
Is she a lefty?
Draw the bow.
Like she holds it with her right and pulls it with the left? Oh, there's that pulling sound effect.
What's next?
We teach you to shoot. Bartender forget the scotch?
I didn't really feel the need for it.
That's some character progression. The last time that we saw Quentin here was Laurel had to drag him out of a bar because of his alcoholism.
Did I screw things up between us again?
Oh.
No.
Look, I really wasn't looking to jam up Merlin, okay? I knew by pursuing him that I could throw a wrench in us just...
Then why'd you do it?
There was evidence, Laurel. Like you said about me and the vigilante, I can't let things go. When I close cases, is what I do.
Well, maybe the fact that there's no scotch in there means you're ready to work on that.
You had my back.
You needed me. If you're the killer, why isn't the count down too?
Not so long ago, I would have put that guy down for good, but looking at him today, all vacant, there didn't seem to be a point. But not everybody deserves mercy. For example, you two have unfinished business.
That's the name of the episode, right? Roll credits.
I want a job.
I'm gonna give this episode's plot a 2. It's a little weird that they chose this to be the episode where Tommy and Oliver have their big friendship-breaking argument, but I knew it was coming up relatively soon. I do appreciate how some of the episode's major stories revolve around the idea of people changing, but it's weird that this was the thing that breaks their friendship. I get that Tommy may not have been at the front of Oliver's mind, but I just don't see him really believing that Tommy would sell Vertigo, especially after what happened to Thea, who Tommy once described as his baby sister. And even if he did deep down, Tommy's still his best friend, so you'd think he'd stand up for him a little bit. I understand Tommy's reasons for leaving the club, but I don't fully understand how we got there. There is a big disconnect. I get we needed to split them up before the finale, but there could have been a more natural way to do it than to have Oliver ignore all the personal growth Tommy's undergone. The rest of the episode surrounding the Vertigo plot is fairly solid, though. It's very clever how that doctor faked the Count's escape to keep using the mental institution's resources to continue his operation. I do think Oliver could have shot the driver of that car that was going to hit him before or after he jumped out of the way, though. But if he did that, then, well, the rest of the episode couldn't happen. It's great to see Lila and Argus introduced in this episode, though, so we have potential to use those characters in stories now. I'm impressed at how they're doing the Season 2 setups while still keeping the focus on the season's main story. Characterization will also get a 2. The club, Verdant, is a metaphor for Tommy growing up. The closer that the club gets to completion, the more things Tommy learns and the more mature he becomes. And him quitting sucks because it means that the club, the thing he's worked so hard on, the job he got because he knew he needed to get off his ass, it doesn't have a soul without him because Oliver only sees it as a cover-up for his other job. I don't know if that was done on purpose by the writers or not, but I found it to be a parallel whether intentional or not. Trust me, I understand Tommy's reasons for leaving, but I just can't see Oliver immediately jumping to the conclusion that Tommy must be dealing Vertigo out of the club. Since Oliver's been back, Tommy's grown up a lot. He's learned humility, empathy, loyalty, and that last one is definitely on display in this episode, with Tommy going out of his way multiple times to protect Oliver's secret. Tommy doesn't even sleep around anymore. He's a much more mature person, and that should be really evident. So I just don't understand Oliver immediately jumping to that conclusion. Outside of that, though, this is a great episode for Oliver, which really just emphasizes that the writers could not think of an organic way to make the big argument happen. I really appreciated Oliver saying, he didn't fail this city, the city failed him, as it perfectly encapsulates Oliver's thought process and why he kills who he chooses to kill if he decides to go to that extreme. Here we see Oliver making the choice to try to save this junkie when he could just do the easy thing and take him out because he wants to and he likes it. But that's not who Oliver Queen is until Season 5 says so. I hope people are starting to see how the mentality Season 5 claims to give Oliver just doesn't apply to Season 1 at any point. Hell, Oliver actively tried to keep Frank Bertinelli alive, despite all the horrible shit he's done, and the fact that he was on the list. And he's not the only person I can say that about in this season either. When Oliver goes after someone on the list, it's premeditated. Oliver has time to plan out what will happen to the people on the list, and he has the opportunity to do something similar with the junkie in this episode, but he can't physically do that for people who are actively trying to gun him down when they see him coming. Oliver even acknowledges in Year's End that all he has to do for some people is pay them a visit and they immediately do what he asks, not even requiring any maiming. Oliver actively tries to give people a chance and do the right thing. and it's only once they force his hand that he deems it necessary to use lethal force. See also the pilot and how Adam Hunt says that Oliver put his men in the hospital instead of killing them. And yes, Oliver killing the doctor makes sense by that logic, since it's him rectifying the wrong of not killing Count Vertigo in the first place. Someone who, you know, most definitely failed this city. Bottom line, I think this was a good episode for Oliver outside of that stupid bullshit force drama with Tommy. I understand Diggs' vendetta against Deadshot, something you could compare him to the Huntress for, but he's not trying to kill everyone associated with Floyd Lawton, so it's a lot more justifiable, and I can even understand him wanting to move on with his life and Lawton being the reason he can't. But he also always has Oliver's back, even if that means needing to stand in his way like with Helena, when he had to make sure that Oliver's head was screwed on straight, or when Oliver wasn't at 100% in Vertigo. So with Vertigo making a comeback, you'd think it would be all hands on deck, and he can go catch Deadshot later. Unfortunately, that's not what the writers decided. On the plus side, I appreciate what the episode did with Quentin. Even with all the growing up Tommy's done, evidence is evidence. The mark of a logical person is their ability to separate their emotional baggage from their situation, and I like that in this instance, Quentin's logic took over. And yes, it also ties into his inability to let things go, something he acknowledges that he needs to work on. TLDR, this was a great episode for Oliver, an alright episode for Quentin, and a bad one for the other major characters. Visuals are a 2. The fight in the hospital between Dig and that orderly was pretty bad, but I do find it funny that he said clear after hitting him with the defibrillator. Probably one of my favorite quips in the entire show. The Vertigo effects are toned down slightly from their last appearance, and that wouldn't be a bad thing if the last episode didn't also have a really great fight scene in that stairwell. The visuals of this episode just don't do much to stand out. I do think it was cool that when I was listening with headphones, I could hear some of Count Vertigo's voice lines in specifically one ear or the other, though. Importance gets a 2, the stuff with Tommy leaving and the island developments are important, and the introduction of Lila and Argus is big as well, but the rest of the episode is pretty fillery. I wouldn't say you needed to watch this episode, though, if you're focused just on the characters. Hell, when Count Vertigo shows up again in Season 2, this episode's barely given a passing mention. And entertainment's a 3. It was solid, engaging, there was enough cool stuff to make passing mention of, but not enough to constantly be talking over the episode like with The Odyssey or Salvation, or for some non-perfect score examples, Dead to Rights and Legacies. That gives Unfinished Business a score of 11 out of 25. I wouldn't say it's a bad episode per se. There are definitely better episodes, but there are also probably worse ones like Dodger and the Huntress Returns, but I don't know, I just didn't really get much from this one. So let's see if our next episode ends this batch on a high note. Kenneth Fink returns for his final contribution to the series to direct Arrow's 20th episode, Home Invasion, which first aired on April 24th, 2013. An assassin called Mr. Blank kills a pair of Laurel's clients, but their son escapes after having seen Mr. Blank's face. Caught in the middle of 2 disasters, Oliver has to choose between helping Diggle stop Deadshot and helping Laurel keep the kids safe.
I thought it would be helpful to track Argus's manhunt for Floyd Lawton, so I decrypted their communication logs, which means I just hacked a federal agency. Kind of makes me a cyber terrorist, which is bad because I really don't see myself fitting in well in Guantanamo Bay.
Don't worry, Felicity, they don't send blondes there.
I diet, actually. I keep your secret.
Hey.
Deadshot is scheduled to meet with a potential new client here in Starling City, except the potential contract is bogus. Your friend Lila is setting a trap for him.
I did some reading up on Lawton.
Lila, listen.
Did you really think I wouldn't find out that he killed your brother? I will not let you use my agency to settle your blood feud.
Oliver, this is Eric Moore and his wife, Nancy. I'm prepping them for a deposition for tomorrow.
And this must be your bodyguard.
This is our son, Taylor. Edward Rasmus isn't known for playing with kid gloves, so this could get rough.
We invested our entire life savings with Rasmus and he stole it.
I have some documents for you from Ms. Lance related to tomorrow's deposition.
This guy plays Deathlock on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Sorry about the mess. This works better if it looks like a break-in.
is it done?
Parents, yes. I'm afraid there's been a variable. The child got away.
Bodies of Eric and Nancy Moore were found early this morning. The couple were being represented by attorney Laurel Lance of CNRI in a lawsuit against financier Edward Rasmus.
Once again, though, Oliver recognizes the name Edward Rasmus because he has an encyclopedic knowledge of everybody on that goddamn list.
If you'd like to say goodbye to Taylor, I will be taking him over to Child Services.
Doesn't he have any other family?
Grandparents are in Melbourne. We're tracking them down, but until then, he's going to be a temporary ward of the state.
As his attorney, I am assigning myself temporary guardianship.
You'd still need a judge's order.
I'll have it to you in an hour.
You look after them, all right? I spend most nights at your daughter's anyways. There was probably a better time to tell you that. Probably not.
Steady your anchor point.
Oh, look at that. They locked eyes. That means they're gonna...
Lila would then swoop in with her team and arrest him.
Do you want Lawton arrested?
No.
Then tomorrow night we cross Floyd Lawton's name off your list. Edward Rasmus. The financial advisor Laurel was taken to court may not have pulled the trigger, but he probably called in the head.
Where you going?
Laurel's.
You got a minute? No. It's about the hood. I just want to see him brought to justice like everyone else.
Don't worry, kid. We'll get him. Just keep making sure I don't have a reason to get you.
I miss my mom and dad.
When I was your age, my mom tucked me into bed at night before going out. And the next thing I knew, there was a police officer at my door. He said that she was gone and that I would never see her again, but you know what? He was wrong. Every time I close my eyes, I can see her. Every time I go to bed, I see her in my dreams. Try it. Close your eyes.
I see them.
Oh.
It's Lieutenant Kessel, SCPD.
Lieutenant, can you hold your badge up to the door, please? His badge number begins with a 0. Lieutenant's badge numbers begin with a 1.
God, that's cool that she knows that, dude.
It was the badge that gave me away, right?
You know, my father's a cop. And that's not all he taught me.
She carries a bigger gun in her house now!
I want the three of you in protective custody immediately, and don't even think about it. He killed 2 of my men.
Well, the hood just saved our lives. He won't let anything happen to me.
Something tells me he's got better things to do.
What about Oliver? The Queens have more security than the president. We both only want what is best for Laurel. And right now, that is to stay close to Oliver.
Damn, must have been hard for Tommy to say that.
Whenever you're ready, I can take you to your next appointment, sir. The Lawton meeting.
I just need to swing by the club and pick up my good suit.
You were the reason why we are here. And trust me, that wasn't easy to admit.
You'll be fine. I promise.
All units, code 1080, Starling City Port.
Do you have a police radio in your pocket?
No, I'm just happy to see you.
No, I'm just happy to see you. Those episodes pretty funny.
Nice evening, huh? I think you got something that belongs to me.
I had a remote access Trojan scouring the internet for Edward Rasmus. His name just popped up on a flight manifest, 8:15 to Shanghai.
He's running.
If you did want to stop him, looks like it's now or never. Deadshot or Rasmus, your choice.
Is Rasmus even on the list? Oh.
Maybe Lawton didn't take the bait after all.
Yeah, it's the same targeting reticle.
On your knees. I saw you coming a mile away.
I'll kill you for what you did, Dad.
I'll be pulling these triggers right now, except there's nobody paying me.
Really?
I got a space view right here. Right next to your brother.
It's weird though, he was wearing his eyepiece and now he's wearing the eye patch. Granted, for him, for Michael Rowe playing Deadshot, I prefer the eye patch, but still. It's just a little inconsistency.
Rasmus was skipping town.
I needed you there, man.
Taylor Moore was relying on me, Diggle.
This was never about that kid. He is safe under armed security at your house. This is about Laurel.
I mean, he's right, but at least Oliver stopped a bad guy.
Something to say, Felicity.
Nothing you want to hear.
Nothing you want to hear. That's a good answer, Felicity. Oh! They're playing his shooting sound effect. Makes you wonder why she doesn't just cover them, but you've known each other for 2 days.
Edward Rasmus was arrested.
Why would he confess?
The vigilante was involved.
I'll go wake up Taylor.
No, Tommy, please. He's sleeping. He's been through a lot. Now, you all are welcome to stay.
Your lawyer's here.
Your lawyer's here.
That's great. Thank you.
Forget about the mole boy. I wish I could, but he's seen my face. Just like you. If you put pressure in just the right areas above the forearm, an embolism will form. When the air pocket reaches your heart in, give or take 15 seconds, you'll die. It's relatively painless. Nothing personal.
So is he gonna go kill all of those cops that saw his face then? Yeah, is he gonna kill all of these guys? Because they all can see his face. Is he gonna kill Thea?
Both of you, come with me.
What are we doing here?
Well, your boyfriend is so interested in the hood. I thought he might like to meet someone who's already made his acquaintance. Meet 26. See, your pal, the hood, he's already sent 26 stiffs down here since he started his little one-man war.
26 is an incredibly specific number. And if I've been tracking Oliver's kill count properly, and I haven't edited last episode yet, so I'm going to add at least 1 to this total, from what I remember. I currently have Oliver's kill count in my notes at 28. Which, if I include the doctor from last episode, is 29. I mean, if I counted people who Oliver hit with the arrow, it might add like 5. Hit with the arrow and groaned, rather. It might add like 5 or 10. But still, based on what I've been counting, that is stunningly close to what I counted as Oliver's actual total. Hearing it from the horse's mouth and hearing it be that close, it kind of makes me think, like, that my methodology that I've been using to track Oliver's kill count is kind of right. But also, 26 could just be a number that they pulled out of their ass. I think that based on the fact that my number is so close, that means that I'm not that far off with my methodology. I'm not that far off. And time for Tommy to walk in. Oh, or look at that.
Thanks for the heads up.
For Ms. Lance?
Oh, he can just do that on his watch? We're not in a super technologically advanced world yet, bro.
Okay, you two stay here with Taylor.
Where are you going?
It's an old house. Fuses blow all the time. It's probably nothing. Just please.
Oliver. Oh, God! That was funny. Ooh, this is Stephen Amell doing that much himself, at least. Which we know he does his stunts in later seasons, but I didn't know he did some of his stuff nowadays. Like in Arrow Season 1. Oh, look at that. Oh, you can see it in front of the window. That's cool. Oh!
He was gonna shoot me. And then Mr. Robbins, he grabbed the poker and saved my life. You still love her. Because of what I do, I could never be with her. She is never going to know my secret.
It doesn't matter if she knows. I know. And I don't know how to be with Laurel knowing the entire time that if she ever found out who you really are, she would choose you.
That's dumb. Dude, that's dumb.
I'm not sure that I'm ready for the kind of commitment that you're looking for, and I don't want to hurt you in the long run, so...
Wait. We both almost lost our lives. And I'm emotional too, but you can't be serious.
This is me serious, Laurel.
And he has to convince himself, don't go back, don't go back, don't go back.
Why is finding the hood so important to you?
I can't stop replaying that night in my head.
You don't owe him anything.
You're wrong. I owe him everything.
So let's find him. I can tell this means the world to you. And you mean the world to me.
Ah!
I want us to get back on the same page.
Oliver, we're not even in the same book. We're done.
Oh, are you serious? Dude, it's so contrived and dumb.
Yo, Faye!
No!
How did you escape?
I didn't.
Let him right to the plane. I kinda want to give the plot a 1. The episode's concept is probably the best thing it has going for it. I like the general idea of a psychopathic killer taking a personal interest in one specific incident in a case, but the execution is a little wonky because Mr. Blank is just too random of a character. And all that shit at the end with Tommy leaving Laurel and Dig leaving the team because the plot says so is just so dumb. Roy's subplot is nice, I guess, but it's only great because Roy and Thea are great, not because the contents of it are great. But by the end of this episode, I just couldn't help but feel how contrived this entire situation was. These last 2 episodes exist almost solely to tear down everything great about this season so far. And that's frustrating because everything the season was building up to went in the exact opposite direction of these 2 episodes. And there's also this subplot that the show just kind of retreads about Tommy being worried about Laurel choosing Oliver over him. But again, that was already done during Vendetta, so it's just another instance of contrived writing that screws the relationships and dynamics of these characters because the plot says so. Oh, and the Oliver Shadow romance on the island comes out of nowhere. I'm gonna give characterization a 2. This episode does a complete disservice to Oliver and Dig's partnership, especially after last episode, where Dig had his back despite him and Oliver having an argument earlier that same episode. I get that Dig's upset that Oliver broke a promise and didn't have Dig's back. I even understand why Dig left the team. But me understanding that doesn't make it feel any less like I'm seeing the hand of the author. And if you think I'm taking Oliver's side in that argument, I'm not. Oliver should have been there for Dig like he said he was going to be. But of course, Oliver's lonely and has his puppy dog eyes set on Laurel again, and I just don't get the loneliness thing here. Oliver's got Dig as his partner and Felicity as his guy in the chair, and, you know, possible love interest based on the moment the 2 of them had in Salvation. Not to mention that until Salvation, Oliver had been more than willing to just be friends with Laurel. Seriously, from episode 2 onwards, Oliver and Laurel are strictly platonic. I mean, except for that one moment in episode 5, but that was an accident, and Laurel said that she couldn't be with Oliver anyway, so Oliver absolutely respected it from that point on, at least as far as I was able to tell. So, what's with the sudden change? Is this about Oliver losing McKenna? I mean, trust me, I get that you miss having that kind of trusting but also kind of fun relationship, but Laurel is clearly not into you, so you should find someone else. And for God's sake, take Joe West's advice on this one, Oliver. If you tell someone you're gonna be somewhere, you show up. On the positive side, though, Tommy had a really great moment with that kid Taylor. When Tommy gets serious about something, it shows. And I do like Thea and Roy, too. That moment they had at the end of the episode was really sweet because it once again shows that Thea's not as self-centered as she used to be since she met Roy. But as for Mr. Blank, he just felt kind of like a weird addition to the show for me. He's never talked about before or after this, and after reading about him on the Arrowverse wiki, knocking things over on purpose makes a lot of sense for him since he gets a kind of sick fun out of his job, but he still just feels too random. I enjoy the complete psychopath character archetype. I just wished we got a little more explanation as to what's up with him. And the thing with anyone seeing his face is just so weird. Are you gonna kill all of those cops at the precinct? Are you gonna kill Thea because she was walking in and you were walking out? She had to at least see your face in her peripherals. It's just too weird and too random for me to take this character seriously. Visuals is a 2. There's some cool shots here and there, but it's just a pretty drab episode outside of that. I do like the performance of Mr. Blank from J. August Richards, though. It's very nuanced in how unnuanced it is, if that makes sense. Like, it seems very in character for his voice to be as flat as it is. Importance is a 3. Despite the specific events of this episode never being brought up again, it does further solidify Thea and Roy's relationship, develop Diggs' Argus subplot, and split up Laurel and Tommy. And that third one is very important for the last few episodes of this season and how Tommy sees Oliver going forward. And of course, there's the ending, which is important for the flashbacks. And I'll give entertainment a 2. The episode was pretty funny, which I liked, and the episode had me engaged for a while, but then right at the end, it went the stupid way. That gives Home Invasion a score of 10 out of 25. I've never thought this episode was that great, and putting it under a microscope and breaking things down just makes me realize why. Now let's get into the wrap-up. Since the topic of Oliver's kill count was brought up during Home Invasion, I wanted to double-check my math on the number of bodies Oliver's racked up thus far. And believe it or not, I think the number of 26 that the police have kept track of has some actual merit to it. Oliver's current kill count, as I've counted it, is 31. One of those kills, Mr. Blank, didn't happen until after we'd already gotten the number told to us, so we'll assume I have to detract 4 kills from Oliver's number in order to get to the number 26. And believe it or not, I can almost get there. During Burned, Oliver kills this guy on the island accidentally, so that's 1 kill noted. There's 2 kills in Muse of Fire that the SCPD doesn't attribute to the Hood, so that's 2 more accounted for. The last one could have been in a lot of different kills, to be honest. Could have been a random grunt that I miscounted, or maybe Oliver didn't go for the kill shot on Leo Mueller after all. Regardless, I'm confident in saying that my methodology for that counter is accurate, which is very exciting. Also, we get a look at Tommy's phone during Unfinished Business, and we can see a couple names that I found pretty interesting. Obviously, there's the normal ones from characters like Oliver, Laurel, and weirdly Felicity. And then there's ones that are presumably from people trying to get into the club, but there's 2 names that really stick out to me. First is Todd Pitson, who was a producer on Arrow through the show's entire run. And the second is the episode's director, Michael Offer. I always like fun Easter eggs like that being sprinkled throughout the episodes. But anyway, that is it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you can join us as soon as freaking possible. And while I'm plugging everything else, be sure to click the bell so that you get notified whenever I upload one of these crappy videos. But apart from that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. This is Demigod Shmurda,